Hello. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. Big release day today. Big release day, big events, stuff happening around. Very exciting times. Hi, Neil.
Hello, Marco.
I promised that Neil was going to be on air today, so despite... No, it's the first time you fly here and no problem at all, right?
It's the first time I've flown here for a stream, and that hasn't been a problem.
All right, okay.
There's been a couple of times in the summer when it didn't really matter, and it was fun.
All right, okay. When it doesn't matter, you're always on time then.
Yeah.
By the way, did you manage to roll out the latest beta for Field of Glory Kingdoms?
I thought I was going to have a day off today, just sitting around waiting for tea time, having done my work yesterday, which we will come to. No, I had to spend all day down here in this freezing cold room.
It is freezing cold.
Helping with recording. So apologies to all, everybody who's waiting for an invite for the Fog Kingdoms Steam beta. Particular apologies to Pocus if you're in there anywhere. I've already apologised directly, but I'm going to do it on the internet as well. The next couple of days, before I go to Poland next week,
of course,
we'll see the release of the Fog Kingdoms Steam beta.
I don't even understand why you go to bed. I mean, you should be working after midnight anyway.
Indeed.
Big release day today, I was saying. We've got two releases because we either do nothing for 6 months or do everything on the same day.
Yes.
It's very much like a Slitherine thing. We got two releases. The first one is the Panzer Corps Axis Operation 1946, which is the last chapter in the Axis Operations series, and the other one is Warhammer 40,000 Gladius Drukhari. So two DLCs, two big DLCs, two huge DLCs actually. I will start with the 1946. So I've got a video for you and we'll be back after that.
Axis victory in Europe paved the way for Axis Operations 1946. Thus, the war is not over in this alternative history with over 50 new units and models. Command a whole new E-series of tanks, which are now arriving to spearhead the Axis invasion of the United States. Get ready to deploy mighty land cruisers, effectively naval weapon platforms on treads, dreamt up but unrealized weapons designed to project power over great distances. As a mighty invasion fleet prepares to take on the U.S. in their home waters, embark on a most audacious plan to take down an atomic superpower. The Americans won't hesitate to use any and every means at their disposal to triumph, but you are not without resources in this bitter fight to the end. The German-Japanese alliance has formed a mighty invasion fleet, and what invasion could be complete without all new supersized naval models? See the massive Yamato battleship in exquisite detail as she deals massive damage with her main guns. How will your campaign be remembered?
I like to compare screenshots of the early 1938 Spanish Civil War DLCs with these ones. Like you can actually see it's like almost like two different games.
Yeah.
Number of units, technology, everything that's so different, which is great. And I think that this one is really cool because you get to play with some really amazing kit. Overall, like have the ability to do these fictional scenarios is also giving a lot of freedom to designers and players as well, to do things that are not particularly linked to history. So, fantasy stuff that makes your things even more exciting sometimes. So this is out now. You can find it on Steam and basically everywhere in the world. Where you have a third-party Steam key reseller. Epic, GOG, and what not. This is the last episode of Axis Operations DLC series. There will be more Panzer Corps content.
That's the word.
That's the word. Content coming out next year, of course. We're cooking up some very cool stuff, but we'll tell you more when it's time. Hey Neil, hey Marco, tell me what the next... Okay, who is this question coming from, Neil?
Hello, Mordante. It's a pleasure to finally get to say hello to you.
Gosh. And also Shards was saying hello to Neil. We're all here today. And we have John Coughlin.
We do, just off camera.
Watching this live, and we'll come to that later. This is one of the reasons why we have Neil here, because he wouldn't come for tea time only. We're not that important for him. The other thing we're releasing today is Warhammer 40,000 Gladius, Drukhari. This is the latest faction DLC for Warhammer Gladius, which is going from strength to strength. You can find it in discounted form on Steam and so many other stores this week because of the release week of Drukhari, and we have a little intro movie to show you for this specifically.
We were born into the war in heaven. The war with no victors. Yet we survived. We thrived. We ruled. For uncountable eons, this galaxy was ours, and we gloried in it. Deeper and deeper into excess, until we birthed a dark god. We regret nothing. Only the weaklings were swallowed. Only the craft world fools stepped back. We learned and adapted. Tormented the cattle race to prolong our days. In chaos, like Gladius Prime, we glory. We raid, kill, take. Eldari, we are no more. Today we are Drukhari. And this planet is ours.
Looks good. Looks pretty impressive. This is the intro. As you know, every faction has its own little intro, and this is the latest DLC for Gladius, which is now standing at 55,000 DLCs available, I think. This, of course, it's faction based, so it's very much like the faction you like. But there's many people who have actually all the factions. This is really cool to see that sort of it's becoming like a collectible item, having all the factions for Gladius, which is after all this time still one of the best selling and best performing and most played games of the Slitherine catalog, which is great. I can still see a lot of people hungry for content, so it's like, what are we doing next? And it's more like, what's left? So that's the real question we've got. But really cool to see that there's still stuff that we can play with on Gladius Prime and have our players enjoy. Now, Neil, why are you here?
Well, the real reason I am here is because yesterday we were running a focus group in the very large room upstairs that is ideal for such things, running a focus group for Scramble.
All right.
Which I know a lot of people have been waiting to hear news on for a long time, and we haven't said anything about Scramble in, I think
2 Christmases ago.
Something like that. It's been a really long time since we've said anything at all about it. And I think a lot of people have interpreted that nothing is happening on the game, or that we've forgotten about it and moved on. And nothing could be further from the truth. A lot of my life is taken up with Scramble all the time. Yesterday we were running a focus group here with a number of students from nearby university, college?
It's an academy, sort of started as a programming design academy, and now they have all sorts of gaming courses.
Yeah, I think they were all game design students yesterday. So we had a bunch of guys come in, they sat down in front of Scramble for a couple of hours. Obviously they've never seen it before. Nobody outside the company has ever seen it before. Unless John's been showing it to his buddies, not sure. We put together a pack of missions for them. We felt, the reason for it is we felt that we had the core gameplay loop down pretty well.
Okay.
But as you know, there's been a lot of discussion of that within the company. Scramble is not necessarily an easy game to pick up and play and immediately understand. We felt on the team that we had solved a lot of those problems, and yesterday was the first time we put it to the test with a group of young Italian students. I find it
actually interesting that we went from, all right, the game looks great, but what about the control scheme? And sort of we almost went back to the roots of how it was actually playing until everyone was happy with the control scheme that was rewarding but still simple and because you've got to match this thing where you have simulation aspects and ease of access, right?
Absolutely. Originally, when you controlled the planes, it was about as challenging as actually flying a Spitfire.
Okay.
So it was very realistic. But it was very intimidating for new users. So we've tried to simplify the controls whilst keeping the same amount of depth in the game.
Okay.
We still have that original control scheme in there for people who want to play it hardcore, but we've been playtesting yesterday our new simplified control scheme on that.
All right. How did it go?
I'm really pleased,
All right.
and I'm not just saying that because I'm on camera. I'm genuinely very pleased with how it went. In a couple of hours, nobody seemed to be struggling with the game. Nobody seemed to think it was overly simple. It achieved our goal because people were free to spend their time planning their tactics in the game and lining up shots and seeing the big picture and planning, not struggling flying the plane. Flying the plane should not be a barrier to being able to play the game.
I think overall the impression I have is that this is more like, right, once this is sorted out, that, you know, that we're all thinking that this works, then everything will fall down, will like follow faster in terms of development, right? Because that's the heart of the game, and then everything around it will be happening faster. So
we're pretty. I don't want to say anything on Scramble is going to happen fast. We're pretty. We're pretty happy with core gameplay now. We think it plays well. It's challenging. It's rewarding. It's very satisfying to shoot down an enemy playing, because it's not easy, but it is doable. Multiplayer has always worked pretty well, and indeed was pretty robust yesterday when we tried it as well. And you know, sort of anybody who spends any time in development knows that rule one is that multiplayer is hard.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. We've got work to do in terms of the campaign, how we put together our missions to make a compelling campaign, rewarding, and something that will keep people coming back. But I'm hopeful that although we haven't said anything for a long time, then we've solved the big problems, and you know, we've been here not just to do a focus group, but creating quite a bit of marketing content for next year as well, because we expect to be able to say a lot about the game very soon. You know,
now, because John has been in front of the camera for the big part of the day.
Yeah.
Now, I see there's a poll on the chat here. The poll goes, who do you want to see more of? Marco gets 5 votes. Mm-hmm. Neil gets 7 votes.
Okay.
And John got 70 votes.
70? That seems unrealistic, given the amount of viewer numbers.
85% of people voted for, and I'm trailing, I'm last, so I'm going to quit the show now. And John will be coming on for tea time from next week.
Okay.
John, you're on for tea time every week. Are you good stuff? So next week, John will not go back to the US. He will stay in Italy for at least until after Christmas, and run tea time every Thursday.
That might affect the development of Scramble, though, so we should be careful.
You want to choose if you want me on camera and Scramble releasing, or John on camera and me developing Scramble. That's your choice.
Well, I have to manage that, so do please choose wisely.
That's also a good point. I just overtook you. 9 votes for me and 7 for you.
Believe that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I thought I had fans, but it happens that only Mordante is my fan. Everyone else hates me. That's not a problem, guys. Don't worry about it. I don't feel bad about that. A couple of other things I want to say about Scramble. One is the recurring topic of playing it with a keyboard or playing it with a controller, right? Did you test the two things yesterday?
We did. We focused mainly on keyboard because keyboard was not always the prime focus of the team, but obviously it has to work on keyboard. We weren't at all concerned about controller working, to be honest.
Okay.
We were very confident internally that it felt good to play with a controller. So we tested it mainly with a keyboard as well. A couple of guys picked up controllers towards the end, just to see the difference. Even Enzo picked up a controller towards the end. Yeah. We got a very good bit of feedback in that it was hard to fine-tune your movements with a keyboard. So that's something we need to go away and work on. For example, kind of ultra-precise movements with a keyboard.
And that's easier with controllers, though?
Yeah, it seems to be easier with a controller. So that was one of the many useful things that we took away from yesterday.
Cool.
But absolutely, controller or keyboard and mouse, both will be
and more in general, what's your thing about, because for strategy games we seldom do focus groups because it's very hard to test focus group gameplay. Well, for Scramble we had this thing where right, we have to test the control schemes. Basically,
Yeah.
that was it, right? We didn't focus on testing everything in the game. It's just
Yeah.
about that. You know, what's your view on focus groups in general? It's for the types of games we do.
Well, I think Scramble worked very well in a focus group yesterday because the core gameplay loop is very snappy. You're immediately into the action and you're being fired at and you've got to take action and you've got to control your plane, and it all feels quite intuitive. You don't need any time to sort of pick up and play and start engaging with it. One of the challenges we've had for Scramble is there just aren't that many other games like it out there. You don't look at all the other turn-based flight sim dogfighting games and think, well, these guys are doing. I mean, you know, we all look at things and think, well, they do that, they do that. You know, everybody in the industry does that. We can't really do that. I don't want to suggest that what we're doing is unique, but there's not a lot of stuff in that space. So,
Well, it is unique in a sense. I mean, it's kind of interesting that, you know, it's a space that's not really covered by anyone. It's either like real-time simulation or, you know, these games that are more about deploying and
I think that was one of the novelties for it. And when we signed Scramble, I just joined the company, so I wasn't too involved when we were signing it. But I think sort of the proposition of a dogfight, but it's turn-based. Well, you think, okay, that's quite fun, and you get the idea. Then when you actually start trying to make a game about that, the challenges that brings soon become apparent.
Like the irony of your colleague. It's like quadriga chariots, but with planes.
Yes.
No, it isn't.
Well, yes. Well, they are both turn-based, and they're both WeGo as well. We don't have that many WeGo games. In fact,
but it's like XCOM then with planes then. Right. So. Right, the other thing you're here for, but before we get to Broken Arrow, which is always a hot topic.
I have noticed that, yes.
We'll be giving you some numbers about Broken Arrow in about 5 to 10 minutes. So everyone on the Discord of Broken Arrow, come here to listen to some of the stuff and some praise to some of our users as well.
Yeah, indeed.
A couple of important news, like more than a couple. There has been massive updates for 3 big games. We had a big update for Rule the Waves 3 going out yesterday, all about like a big sort of changing gameplay, as in controlling admirals and being able to allocate to appoint admirals to command whole areas, you know, depending on admiral skills, assign their assigned ships, organize ships, and do all kind of stuff. That was a big request from players, and we wanted to make sure that this was going out before Christmas. And Mickey, stop it. And now Mickey is trying to be funny, like he always does. But I need to focus for 2 minutes. Enzo, say something to Michele. Then we have another big update for War in the East, which received a big addition of order of battles, specifically to Panzer and Infantry Division. They now have dozens of different templates for order of battles there, and reflecting a lot of the original war organizational changes. We wanted to sort of make sure that these big updates went out before the Christmas rush or during the big Christmas sale. The last thing we did was release a big update for Flashpoint campaign Southern Storm, which received 4 free scenarios just in time to play it before for the holiday break. These are primarily featuring Canadians, Warsaw Pact, and French for the joy of Yog Dog, and I can now play with French tanks. A lot more AI behavioral updates were added to the game. So make sure you grab these updates if you have the games, and if you don't have the games, grab the games. That's as simple as that. Also, did you guys go see Napoleon? Did you see Napoleon the movie?
I haven't seen Napoleon. I've been busy producing games.
Yeah, he hasn't seen Napoleon. He hasn't released the Field of Glory Kingdoms beta update.
No.
I don't know. It's
what have I been doing?
I mean, you can actually watch Napoleon whilst releasing the Field of Glory Kingdoms beta.
I could take my laptop into the cinema.
See, that would be awesome. If you haven't seen Napoleon, don't worry. And if you haven't seen Napoleon and you're a big history fan, don't go and see Napoleon. But we took the opportunity of the Napoleon release, so basically everyone but my uncle are talking about Napoleon these days, so we've released a sale, or it's actually organized a sale for Napoleonic games on Steam. You can find it on the special promos section, or browse any of the Napoleonic game on Steam from us or from any other developer/publisher. You'll probably see it's discounted and part of a cumulative Napoleon sale that we facilitate the organization of. This has been going live yesterday and will be live for a week. That was for Napoleon. Do you want to go with Broken Arrow good news or with Terminator bad news?
Let's do the Broken Arrow good news.
Okay, let's do Broken Arrow good news. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave you to do this because we've got some cool numbers to share with you guys.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually publicly spoken about Broken Arrow before, because I've always failed to get here when we've been talking about Broken Arrow, and sort of Felix has done it all instead. But Broken Arrow is one of mine as well. You'll be aware that we have closed beta running at the moment, which is mainly focused on multiplayer, which has been very popular. So I just wanted to run through a few stats as to where we are with it at the moment. So I'm going to have to look down at the bit of paper here. We have a fraction over 8,000 users in the beta at the moment. We have many more still waiting as well. Invites are going out all the time. We are adding people when we feel it's safe to do so and when the developers want us to add more people. So if you've applied and you haven't heard anything back yet, doesn't mean you're not going to get in, but there's just a lot of people who want to get in. Also, particularly if you're a Gmail user, do check your sort of promotions folder and spam folders and things like that, because invites to betas often end up in there, and we have about 10% of invites that have gone out that have never been activated. You know, plenty of those will be sitting in spam folders and whatnot. But 8,000 people have made it in there. A total of, as of this afternoon, 48,964 hours of gameplay.
That's a lot.
Taken part so far. It is a lot, yes. It is a lot. I did some maths on that earlier, but I can't remember how many weeks, years, whatever that is. That's a total of 8,150 matches so far, because we've had about 80,000 individual match players. It's 5v5, so
what's the usage of multiplayer against single player at the moment? Is it?
We haven't broken that down specifically. There are the build that was the Next Fest demo back in February of this year is still in there for people who want to practice or refine their skills. So some people are spending a lot of time in there rather than getting sort of stomped in multiplayer. It's a multiplayer focused beta, so a lot of people we have in there are pretty good at multiplayer. There's some pretty hardcore guys in there, certainly. What have we got? We have the number of units killed so far, 2,072,598. So, yeah, that's a lot of tanks by the side of the road. 259,172 game zones have been captured overall. USA has overtaken Europe as the most largest sort of single geographic area now of gamers in the last couple of days. Europe went out into a big lead at first, but the USA have pegged us back. Couple of shout outs to players. Deadliest player overall, we have Fedor. Congratulations to you, sir, with a KD ratio of almost 4.5. That's insane because the next highest out of all 8,000 people in there is 2.5. So
is Fedor cheating?
I asked specifically this afternoon if Fedor was cheating, and the answer is no, and you need 100 minimum kills and deaths before you can be counted. So it's not even like one guy who's killed 2 tanks and not died. But a shout probably has to go out to Shonka as well overall. He has 8,458 kills overall, and almost the most time in the game as well.
Wow.
So Tushonka, whoever you are very hardcore and very deadly. I wanted to give a final shout out to Poot Snoop Boogie, because he has lost more units to friendly fire than anybody else in the beta. An enormous 987 units.
So he's killed 987 of his own units. How many enemy units is a question that'd be interesting to
I think we probably do have stats on that somewhere. So
a ratio of that as well, considering his nickname, I think is probably my favorite player anyway. A Poot Snoot Boogie.
Yeah, never give up, man. Yeah.
No space, all one word. He's really good at shooting himself in the foot. Now, family business. Neil's mentioning numbers. Also remember to check your Spotify Wrapped numbers. I said I had to say this.
Smooth.
You see, I let it slip in. Like that. Are we going to add more people now?
Yes, I mean we don't have a fixed timetable, so we will add 1,000 people on average every couple of days. Is what we're doing. So if you are waiting, it's unlikely you will have to wait very long, but we might hold back a big group of reservists because. The point of the beta is not just to have fun. We are also testing, rather more dull things like server loads and stress tests and such. So
yeah, that's why we're doing it. Really.
Yeah. So a big group of new recruits will probably be. We're trying to pick a time when we can get a whole load of people in all at once, and we might sort of hold back some people for that. So people are getting added, and people are still signing up as well. I mean, since the beta's open, we've probably had about 3,000-4,000 applications since we've started adding people to the beta. So people are still signing up, people are still getting added in. So if you're not in today, it doesn't mean you will never be in. We don't have a firm date for turning off the beta. We're just going to keep it going whilst it's useful, and it's still useful at the moment. So
no, absolutely. And the goal of the beta is, of course, that we want to sort of give a lot more player the ability to play the game before it releases, but the main goal really is to understand. I mean, the whole thing started as, we need to test the multiplayer because we need to get ready for release and understand how the multiplayer service would work. There's no secret. This is the first time for us that we sort of do something that's potentially so big in multiplayer, so requires a lot of infrastructure that we have to test a lot before. I mean, we've got the knowledge on how to do it, but we have to sort of practically check.
It's just sheer numbers, as you
how
say.
It works.
It's big and it's live multiplayer rather than turn-based stuff. So yeah, it's we want to be sure we get it right.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying that there's some news for Terminator. I was actually hinting at that last tea time, even the previous one as well. But before I could make it official, we had to check on a number of with a number of people. Terminator has been delayed. Terminator has been delayed to the 21st of February next year. Just checking if somebody is going to kill me for this, but it's been delayed for a number of reasons, really. The Steam Next Fest demo gave us a lot of precious indications of what was working and what was improvable. We made a list of these things. We actually made this list public. It's in the Steam. It's on the Steam page. And in this list, there were a number of things that we thought were going to take less time to implement. On top of it, we're tested. Again, a good point here for attaching to the Broken Arrow subject, multiplayer. And again, this is part of the game where we wanted to make sure that the game was delivering. And unfortunately, some of the multiplayer stuff was, still needed balancing and fixing. So we decided that it was a good time to do it over Christmas and release the game afterwards. We don't want to release something that makes people think that we don't care about the games, so we prefer to postpone stuff, although sometimes it's not good news. Sometimes people are waiting for the game and they want to play it. When we say we release it, and we just realized that we couldn't make it for December 7th, so we'll take this extra couple of months to refine things, make things work, make things also compatible with every possible graphical card in the world. And this is another point that's not trivial. And we'll deliver the game in its best possible form. Beta for Terminator is still open. Absolutely. You can subscribe and you can ask, please. I was waiting for the game to release on the 7th. Now my Christmas is ruined. Please add me to the beta at least. And if you cry hard enough, I'm sure that you'll get a place on the beta. Send us a video of yourself crying. Oh gosh. Yeah. Some people do. Some people may do that. I'm not asking to do it, but
I don't handle beta applications, so I'm definitely in favour of that idea.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. One other important thing, the streaming schedule this week is not going to be very reliable. Think so, right? No. So I'm not going to say anything about the streaming schedule. Check out the Twitch channel on Monday morning and for a better understanding of what's going to happen on Twitch. The only thing I can tell you is that Stargate Timekeepers tomorrow at 6 p.m. Yeah, tonight we have tonight. Sorry, I'm depressing it bad. Panzer Corps Axis Operations 1946. After this, with XTRG. Hello, XTRG. I hope you're fine. And Yog Dog is playing Gladius Drukhari at 6:30 tonight. I was saying tomorrow at 6 p.m. we have Richard York playing Stargate Episode 1. The demo is still available on Steam if you want to download it. It's one of yours as well, right?
It is one of mine as well.
Excited about that?
I am very excited. Somewhat nervous now because we're so close to release now. But yeah, we're pretty much there. We've got a couple of big things to sort out still, but the game itself is looking really good. I was looking at it this week before I came over and delighted with how it's coming on.
Yeah, that's great. And as always, the last 2 weeks are the most stressful time.
God,
so because you want the team to be very relaxed and you want the team to just not take it too, just don't get too stressed.
Yeah.
You go and visit them next week.
Exactly. I thought what could cheer them up more than having their producer come and sit there for 2 days and point out every mistake he can see.
That's a great move, Neil. Very good.
In case I don't find enough, I'll be taking Annie with me as well to find some more mistakes that they can hurriedly fix before release.
8 p.m. Tomorrow, Distant Worlds 2 with Das Tactic, and Yog Dog again playing Gladius at 10 p.m. Yog Dog will enjoy playing his Gladius these days. Otherwise, there's a problem. Just a reminder also that on January 31st next year, your Slit points will be zeroed out, and we start from scratch with Slit points. We're not scrapping the program, we're just starting again, rebooting it, making sure that you have enough notice to spend your slits as well, and make sure that you spend them on games that you know are on the store now. If there's not the game that you want, ping us a message. We might want to make last-minute additions towards the Christmas period as well. But of course, during Christmas, there's lots of discounts as well. So make sure you take that into account. Any detail about the new Sleep Points program that you can share now, Havard? Not really. I don't know anything at all about it. I mean, the guy who knows stuff about it is just sitting there. He's got a Pikachu hat on, but he won't tell me anything about it, so I can't really tell you. Neil, make an executive decision. Twist Marco's arm. What the hell?
I'm not sure what that means. I'm not going to do that, no.
Enzo cameo, John Coughlin in a Pikachu hat. None of that is going to happen. None of that is going to happen. Fog 2 News. No, really, no chance at all. I will see you next time on Thursday next week. No Neil. Who do we have next week, Enzo? Can we bring someone special on? Adriana is back next week.
Next week we're going to do a stop with something better.
Next week we're not going to be live. We can do it on Wednesday if you want.
We can do it on Wednesday.
We'll do tea time on Wednesday, see how many people show up. Because next week on Thursday it's a bank holiday in Italy. No, it's a bank holiday in Milan. Only Milan. It's the, what do you call it this? Every town has a saint.
Patron
saint. Sant'Ambrogio. So we're all off. This is one of the reasons why Terminator is not releasing next week, because that was going to be a bank holiday for us, and we didn't want to lose a day of holiday, sorry. Anyway, guys, hopefully see you Wednesday next week. Who knows what can happen. Thanks for following us. Thanks for being with us, Neil.
It was a pleasure to be here.
And I will make sure everyone gets invited to the Terminator beta if they send a video of themselves crying. See you next week. Bye.
The attraction towards new experiences is powerful. Alienware gear isn't made to resist that pull. It's made to accelerate it, to transport you to new places where you can embrace difference and leave familiar behind, bringing you ever closer to the ultimate experience. See you on the other side.